Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round number 7 of the 4th season of the 2021 UK and Ireland Monday Night Skippys live here on RaceSpotTV in support of the Calm Zone, the campaign against living miserably. Tonight we are back in the UK at the Snetterton racing circuit and the 200 circuit layout, which is 8 turns and exactly 2 miles in length, and the field size is increasing. We have 30 drivers signed up for tonight, so we'll see how many of those end up in the race, looking like 27 at the moment. And this is race number 7 of a 12 race season, so we are halfway through the championship so far, and then at the end everybody gets to drop their worst 2 races as well. So some quite interesting races left to go here, especially the Red Bull Ring is going to be fascinating to watch with all the straights and drafting. Last season we had a massive race there, and then the final at Brands Hatch is going to be pretty intense as well, seeing these little cars bouncing over those massive curbs. But tonight we are at Snetterton, and Ryan, 2.5 minutes left of qualifying, and it looks like Nathan Wade is on top here once again.
Yeah, pretty much continuing his good form this season so far, and doing well up at the top in qualifying. But Nick Von Roberts is not that far behind him in qualifying, with Will Redford not too far behind either in third place. But yeah, it's been a good season so far, and I think tonight the Snetterton circuit with the 200 layout is going to provide some great battling, and that back straight as well. Don't be surprised if you see some draft battles.
Definitely going to be a lot of drafting here, with 2 massive straights and a little bit shorter one, and some good overtaking opportunities. And Nathan Wade currently on top here in qualifying. They have, as usual, 10 minutes to set a lap time over 3 laps, and most of the drivers are finished with their runs. We have Anthony PM Jones here. He is out on his 3rd lap, but he does not have a time yet, so he's been off track twice. So this better be a clean lap, or he is going to be way down the order. And he is looking for his 1st win this season. Nathan Wade is currently topping. He's got 2, and he's the only 2-time winner this season, along with Will Redford, Adam Miles, Nick Van Robertson, Benny Simonson, sharing 1 apiece. Wide on the curb there again for PM Jones, coming now to the finish line. Now we'll have to see if this one will count, or if he will have to start at the very back. Here he is to the line, and he gets a 26.7, so that is the time, but he is 2.5 seconds off 24th place, so I'm not really sure if he's just lacking pace or what's up there. He was 5th quickest in practice, so he definitely has the pace, but he will be starting 25th unless somebody behind him gets a quicker lap. Jonathan Rex is just coming to complete his final lap, and here is Tony Stack actually only completing his 1st lap here in this qualifying session, and he's only got 26 seconds left, so that will be his only lap. It puts him up into 16th place, 22.4, and you can see him pull him over there right away. Jonathan Rex comes across the line as well, improves on his best lap, but he stays in 24th. So with Tony Stack's lap there, that's going to put PM Jones down in 26th. And I believe that is the final cars out on the track. We have 4 cars that have not set a time yet, and 3 of those are not in the session. So it looks like there will be 27 cars racing here today. And the full starting grid here for Snetterton looks like this. Nathan Wade on pole position, half a tenth ahead of Nicholas Von Roberts, 2 of the championship hopefuls. Will Redford making the other start here. It starts in 3rd, and then Adam Miles in 4th. Massive gap there in time, almost 2.5 tenths. Then George Mattick in 5th, still looking for his 1st ever win in the Monday Night Skippies. And then we have Daniel Tubbs in P number 6. Kevin Budgeon starts in 7th with Clark Williams in 8th, Seth Brown in 9th, and Chris Wayne rounding out the top 10. Geoff Randall in 11th, Dave Dowson in 12th, with Terry McGrother in 13th, Martin Armitage in 14th, Christopher Miles in 15th, and Tony Stack, like we saw there on his only lap, in P16. Greg Ruff in 17th, Dave Devine starts 18th, Tim Adcock in 19th, and Paul Smithers starts in 20th. Then we have David Clapham 21st, league organizer Alan Patterson in 22nd, John McDonald in 23rd, Jonathan Rex in 24th, Peter Parnell 25th, Anthony PM Jones with his only lap in 26th. And then we have Peter Cohen as well, of those final cars, who is gridding up here today. Those other 3 will not be racing. And as you can see, the cars are all gridded up. There is 1 car left, and there he goes. So I believe we're going to be racing here any second. The engines are revving, the red lights are on. And there is the green flag. We are racing at Snetterton. It's a good getaway at the front. Looks like they're going to be single file through the first few cars there. Some double file further back around 10th, 11th, but they single file out as well. So I think around 13th, 14th is where the first pass is going to be here. Coming around turn number 1, but they find their positions as well. So the whole top 20, actually Dave Devine gets past Greg Ruff now, coming into the first hairpin here. Bit of looking up the inside. There's a lock-up, I think, from Clark Williams back in 8th. But the whole top 10 comes through there in the same order that they started. Terry McGrother started 13th. He is up to 12th, past Dave Dowson, and then Miles is past Armitage. So that is down where the first bunch of passes has been made. As we're going to get a replay here of Tony Stack at in the middle of the field. He started 16th. He's down to 27th. And coming down towards the hairpin here, he just gets ran over from behind by the 07. I thought that was 07, but that was not 07. That might have been Christopher. No, that was 07. Dave Devine. He is right there. Started 18th up to 16th, so a bit of a misjudgment there in the braking zone. And Tony Stack is now down into last place in 27th. But doesn't look like he has too much damage, so hopefully he'll be able to soldier on and get back up through the field as we complete lap number 1 here already. 1 minute 20-second lap time, so the laps are very short, as here comes Nathan Wade going to take back that lead that Nicholas von Roberts had stolen from him on an earlier straightaway when we were watching the replays. And that's what we're going to see here down these straightaways. They're going to be switching back and forth. Now here comes von Roberts looking to the inside again, but does not want to pass into the hairpin. So single file with Redford bit looking on the outside, and we have had a massive incident somewhere. Terry McGrother, Christopher Miles, Tony Stack and John McDonald have all towed back into pit lane, and Tim Adcock, Alan Patterson as well. So that is 6 cars at once. See if we can figure out what happened here. 3 wide down the straightaway, 2 cars go in the wall, 1 goes flying, comes off the fence. Oh, and then the white car just backs into the track, and a couple of other cars comes piling in there. And then 2 cars trying to avoid. That must have been Adcock and Patterson to get together. So that was very unfortunate. I'm not going to put any time into seeing who that was that backed across the track, because I don't think he needs outing. He's going to get a whooping from these other drivers for backing across the track like that. But very unfortunate to see 6 cars out at once there at the end of the first lap. Meanwhile, though, at the front, it is actually Will Redford who has taken back the lead. As we see another replay here, Tony Stack coming through, and Patterson, I believe that was just turned across his nose trying to get through there as he checked up, and Tony Stack just did not, by the looks of it. But at the front, Will Redford, he's actually going to lose the lead here as Nicholas von Roberts now comes by down the end of the front straightaway. Redford trying with the crossover, coming down to the hairpin. He's not going to put it up the inside though, wanting to go single file in through there. But very eventful start here, Ryan.
Yeah, it's been an eventful first couple of laps, and yeah, we've had a change of lead up at the front, but it's just unfortunate about those drivers further back in the pack getting caught up with each other on the home straight. But yeah, I think there was just so much going on that the drivers never had time to react to someone's off in the background. That was Martin Armitage.
It was. We see him rejoining here, another car there as well, and the 87 coming through there, Christopher Miles, I believe that might have been the 07. Kind of hard to see. Armitage goes wide though, car in front of him went wide as well, and he went spinning. And here they come down into the hairpin, through there nicely, and then the 22 just gets ran over, and they run over each other out on the grass. So that is the 22 of Martin Armitage, that's right. And here we have Greg Roof. Some weird connection issues there, almost tipping his car over. And then the 11 of Anthony P.M. Jones as well out now. So quite a lot of cars out of this race, as Will Redford is back in the lead running the IndyCar line. And here we have a couple of cars coming back on track now in their spare cars, as Clark Williams sits the fastest lap of the race. But see now if we can follow the leaders, as he gets sideways off the gravel there as well, or the grass slash gravel. It's a bit of a mix there on the outside of the curb. But these guys are using all of the track all the way around here, and now onto the straightaway. We're going to see a lead change here, possibly a 3 wide as well, because Wade is not going to just sit behind Von Roberts. And then they're going to come round turns 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever it is, down the next straightaway, and then it's going to switch back like we always see here, as Jonathan Rex is now towed back to the pit. So he's been involved in an incident with Paul Smithers, I believe. Might have been an earlier one, but they just jumped to the top of my leaderboard for some reason. As we see here, Nicholas von Roberts is taking over the lead, and we're going to get another replay here.
Yeah, there's a head into turn 1, and just Jonathan Rex and the number 4 car get caught up with each other into turn 1 into Richie's, and it looks like Rex might have got a run heading down to turn 1, heading across the start finish line, and Rex gets running and closes in the slipstream, and he goes to the move, but I don't think he wasn't entirely alongside, so I think it was just a bit of an optimistic move, and it went horribly wrong, and unfortunately those two got caught up with each other.
They did, and meanwhile we have the leaders here, 3 wide for the lead, the 85 trying to make it 4, but Miles can't find an opening. It's the 24 of Nathan Wade on the inside, but Will Redford would hold it around the outside, and here comes Matic as well now passing Miles. Miles tried to make it 4, couldn't find an opening, and he ended up getting passed. And right behind these guys we have Tufts as well, still side by side here for 3rd and 4th. Von Roberts holding on to that though, as Matic gets a bit sideways there on the inside, as the outside for the ladder corner, so he will drop back. But Nathan Wade now with the slipstream on Will Redford coming down into turn number 4, and I think he will put it to the inside, and he's gonna slide right on by. Will Redford gets off the gas early there to just slot him behind. They're side by side for 4th again here, as Miles is trying to pass Matic. He's gonna put the crossover on him, out of turn number 5. Backs in behind again, so yeah, not wanting to go side by side through here as they've already lost a few tenths on the guys ahead, and side by side through a couple of corners here, and that draft could be lost, which means that your chance at a win will pretty much be lost unless something happens in front. But at the moment though, Nathan Wade has retaken the lead, Will Redford is in second, and Nicholas Von Roberts is in third. But as always, that will change. We've completed 5 laps already here out of 18. Now Wade goes in the middle of the track, trying to defend, goes back to the outside. Here comes Redford, he's gonna look, no, he caught up to him a little bit too late, so he stays behind this time. There is no rush to pass here, because you know that you're just gonna be passed right back, so just bide your time, don't put yourself in any weird situations. And oh, as he runs into the back of Nathan Wade there, just as I say that, he runs into the back of Wade. Looks like the front wing is still on that white Skippy, but that could have been disastrous, as I think I heard another crash in the background. I'm going to try and figure out what that might have been.
Yeah, as Nathan Wade was lucky not to get spun around there, as it looks like Peter Parnell's had issues on the home straight, and maybe possibly contact on another car. Is it just about to look at the replay now?
Coming around the turn, going onto the curb. Not really sure what's going to happen here. He's got 2 cars behind him that's catching up. One trying to go to the inside, one to the outside, and he just runs him over. Is that the 97 behind him, I believe? It's kind of hard to see from there. But Peter Parnell gets spun out, and it might have been the 07 actually of Dave Devine. We don't have an 87 as we have a replay here. Dave Devine catching up to him and just wanting to go on the side where there isn't really any room. And yeah, he just runs out of room, runs over the 52 there of Peter Parnell and drives him into the fence. So unfortunate there, but I think this early in the race, Dave, you might have wanted to go to the left, giving yourself some space. That might have been better. As we're back with the leaders again, and Nathan Wade has just retaken the lead again from Will Redford, and Nick Von Roberts back there fighting everything he can. Kevin Budgeon has dropped back from these guys about 2.5 seconds, trying to catch back up, and on that last lap he caught up 0.2 of a second, but that is not going to do it for him. He's not got any draft whatsoever back there, so he will have to hope for something to happen up ahead of him if he wants anything to do with the battle for the top 5. As we have another move here. Ooh. Contact, it happened. The 27 is off, but he manages to get back on the track, and I think everyone's going to be able to keep on going after that.
I'm amazed that everyone survived in that. I thought Von Roberts was going to slam into the back of Nathan Wade there. There's a rider on board with Von Roberts heading down the straight and heading down to Brundle, and it looks like Von Roberts might have tried to go for a move, or maybe just got caught out by these two holding each other up in front of him. But they head into Brundle, and it looks like Redford goes for it, moves into the lead, and Nick Von Roberts with awesome car control to keep out of trouble.
Almost ran into the back of Nathan Wade. Nathan obviously saw that coming and checked up and turned right, so great reaction by him as well, but good job from Nicholas Von Roberts to save that. And I'm not going to say another word about these guys making mistakes or having potential of making mistakes, because now I've done it twice and it's not turned out very well. But so far all 6 of them are still going. Will Redford has a bit of a gap, but I think Nick Von Roberts and Nathan Wade should be close enough to still get the draft here down the straightaway. We might not be able to see a move as we have a lock up there in the background. That might have been a lap car trying to get out of the way, because the guys battling for 7th, 8th and 9th and 10th are not close to each other. So nothing major, just a car going a little bit wide. As these guys, they did not close up as much as I thought they would. They did gain about 3 or 4 tenths, but I thought they'd be right on the back of Redford there. Taking their time, obviously. We're not even halfway yet. 8 laps almost completed out of 18, so 10 laps to go for these guys to do something. But we see now when the leader is a bit far ahead and everyone is getting full effect of the draft and they're not having to check up to pass each other, they're kind of spreading out a bit. So if Will Redford can just do a couple of laps here without making too many mistakes, he might be able to spread these guys apart, and maybe 1 or 2 cars will drop off. Looks especially like Daniel Tufts is struggling here. He's got 4 tenths up to Adam Miles, and he's got 3 tenths up to Matic, who's got half a second up to Nathan Wade. So they want to step on it here a bit if they don't want to be losing this draft anytime soon, as Nicholas Von Roberts in second just set the fastest lap of the race, having the ultimate draft down every single straightaway for a whole lap.
Absolutely, as they come through this chicane now, and I think Redford, it's just about just a matter of time before he loses his lead to Vaughan Roberts, possibly, as Vaughan Roberts has got the run and heading down to Brundle, and he's getting closer and closer in the slipstream, and I think he's going for the move. And up the inside of Will Redford, Redford really doesn't put up much of a fight and just lets Vaughan Roberts go.
Definitely did, but this was all it took for Matic, Miles and Tubbs to get within touching distance again. Just catching up to Redford, having to slow down a little bit, and then those three guys were right back on the pack. Kevin Budgeon is dropping back again, so I think he is out of the running with these 6 cars. But Vaughan Roberts currently in the lead here, coming up on halfway. Redford trying to find the way back through as they all go really wide out there. I think Vaughan Roberts might have gone a little bit too wide because Redford is getting a run. He's going to try to somewhat side draft him coming down to the start finish line here, and the finish line is quite late, so it is possible to make a pass before you get to the finish line if you are in second, if the leader makes a mistake. And George Matic back in 4th just set the fastest lap of the race, 4 1,000ths away from being under the 120 mark, which is what I think we're going to get well under that before the end of this race. But now they are all nose to tail again. Matic right on the back of Wade here, trying to possibly strike into the top 3. Like we said, he is still looking for that first win. I think he's got 3 or 4 second place finishes, but that first win is yet to come. Up the inside now for Wade here, going for 3rd as well. It's Vaughan Roberts on the inside of Will Redford. He has taken the lead easily there. Wade backs out a little bit later, but Matic is up into 3rd. Obviously did not want to let Miles come through as well there. So Wade only down to 4th. Now he will try and get right back past George Matic, who will do everything he can to hold on to this position, catch up to Will Redford, and maybe climb up into 2nd as well to be within striking distance. Redford gets a little bit close to Vaughan Roberts there, has to check up a little bit, and that will definitely help George Matic into turn number 8 now. Final corner onto the front straightaway. Yet again, here they come. It's quite a gap between Redford and Roberts, but Redford is not in the draft of Nicholas Vaughan Roberts, possibly does not want to get too close to him. Coming down into turn number 1 is Wade looking up the inside of George Matic. He is going to try with a move. Matic stays wide, gives him plenty of room, and Wade is going to make that pass stick. So up into 3rd, sorry, and here comes Adam Miles also trying to get up into 4th. As Wade locks up a bit there, Matic has to go wide, and Miles almost runs into the back of Nathan Wade, having to check up there. That's going to give Matic 4th position right back. And now they're fighting to try and get in the draft of that car from Nathan Wade. But it looks like he will be giving the draft to Adam Miles. Now he moves in the middle, so he's giving equal draft to both. And here comes Daniel Tubbs getting involved. They're going to be 3 wide for 4th place. And Daniel Tubbs going to go from 6th to 3rd. What is going on? Nathan Wade goes wide and he will lose 2 positions. But Daniel Tubbs, out of nowhere, he's been back through the whole race. All of a sudden, he is right in this. And Will Redford and Nicholas Vaughan Roberts, they have just driven away from this now.
Yeah, they absolutely have. These guys have been scrapping away behind the 2 leaders, and the 2 leaders just took advantage and pulled away. But right there on board with Daniel Tubbs as well. That was how on earth he pulled his move off, I never know. But fair play to him for giving it a go. And I thought that it was going to end up in disaster or contact between all 4 drivers, but amazingly they all managed to survive in one piece and keep going.
Amazing skill from all of these drivers as they're side by side yet again, and they're going to be side by side for 5th as well. As Matic has passed Tubbs for 3rd, Miles has passed Wade for 5th, and the front 2, they pulled away 1.4 seconds. Actually, the leader pulled away 2 seconds almost on that lap, so the gap is opening up as Tubbs comes back on Matic again, and this is definitely helping the leaders because they both know exactly what they're doing. Nicholas Vaughan Roberts is going to pass Will Redford here. Redford is going to pass him back on the next straightaway, and that is what these 2 are going to keep on doing until it's 2 laps to go. Meanwhile, the guys back for 3rd, they're about to go 3 wide again, and they're just going to lose second after second after second. And Kevin Budgeon is closing in as they make contact there with Matic on the outside of the first bit of the corner. He gets the inside then. Miles loses back to 4th there. He had the inside line and made contact. I'm not really sure if Matic kept it tight or if Miles drifted out slightly there, but they're both still going without any major damage. But Kevin Budgeon, he is closing in on these guys in a hurry. Last time around, he gained almost a second. This time he's not going to gain quite as much. The gap is still actually 4 seconds before they started battling. He lost out massively, but if they keep on racing like this, he will be there in a hurry. George Matic now in fourth. Now they're going to go 3 wide again for fifth. That's Miles on the right. That's Tufts in the middle. And then Wade at the back, trying to find something. Miles actually gets through there. Tufts trying to follow. Wade, sorry, trying to follow as well, getting past Daniel Tufts. So Tufts is now back down to P number 6. And, well, George Matic opened up a little bit of a gap there, but that is going to disappear as soon as he gets on the straightaway again. He does not have any draft whatsoever, and those 3 back there, they are nose to tail, so expect some 3 or possibly 4 wide action again, trying to weave back and forth to lose the draft from each other. So Matic, he might actually be able to hold on to it as Wade goes in the middle, and Tufts, he backs out on the exit actually, so they're just going to be side by side on the inside here. Though Miles is late on the brakes, and he will retain that position from Nathan Wade.
And yeah, it's a fantastic battle between these guys, and yeah, George Matic in third place, got a little bit of a gap, but as soon as you get back onto that home straight, I think a gap will come down dramatically, and I think Matic will be under attack from Adam Miles and possibly Nathan Wade as well. But I think the person that's probably just sitting pretty at the moment, watching what these guys are up to, is Daniel Tufts. If any of these guys in front of him have issues, he'll be there to pick up a couple of positions and maybe a possible podium position as well. But back up at the front, Will Redford and Vaughan Roberts are still going at it again, and Will Redford back to the lead.
They just keep on switching, trying to go as fast as they can here, as well as now Adam Miles, like you said, he caught up to Matic and he made that pass going down into turn number 1. So this is far from over. It's still anybody's race. Daniel Tufts had dropped back a little bit, but as soon as they get on the straightaways, he's closing right on up. And that time around, Kevin Budgeon behind him had equal lap times to the faster cars in this group, actually a little bit slower even than Adam Miles. So he, without the draft, does not have any chance to catch up here. Now here comes Matic, looking back to the outside as well, as you see Nicholas Vaughan Roberts there in the foreground, taking that position back. Now Matic on the outside, going around Adam Miles for 3rd place, and Miles holding on to 5th with Daniel Tufts sitting back there in 6th now, just waiting for something to happen. And George Matic gonna go another race without a win here, even though he's been in contention and he's up there racing for it. Unless something happens between Vaughan Robertson and Will Redford, one of those 2 is going to win this race, and Matic will have to settle for another podium finish at best. But it's still a long way to go, coming to complete lap number 14 here. So still 4 laps to go as they come across the line, and lap traffic coming into play now, moving over for Nicholas Vaughan Roberts and Will Redford actually. So fair play to him, as here comes Adam Miles now looking to the inside of Matic, and he will get that pass done. Nathan Wade backs out, so they're still going to go single file for this corner, and that is Greg Roof, who is 1 lap down in P number 15, who's ahead of them, and he moved out of the way of the leaders nicely, so I think he'll do the same here. Tufts now to the outside of Nathan Wade, coming into the hairpin, but slots in behind him, and it's very hard to get any sort of speed around the outside there. So he tried, he showed his car there, showing that he is there, he wants to get involved, but not making it happen just yet.
Absolutely, is right. Matic's going for the move again. He's going for the move to retake 3rd position from Adam Miles into Rundle, and he manages to get the move done, but Adam Miles tries to hang on the outside, but thinks better of it and decides to tuck him behind. But Nathan Wade and Daniel Tufts there in the background are still involved in this battle, and Wade is showing his nose there, trying to intimidate Miles. Is back up at the front. The leaders are going at it through this long right-hander heading into the final corner, and Redford again retakes the lead. These guys are pretty much going at it to Hammer and Tom.
Yeah, they're through with just passing each other on the straights. Now they're gonna pass each other any way they can, and I'm not really sure if you want to be 2nd or 1st starting the final lap, but at the moment Will Redford wants to be at the front, and Vaughan Roberts trying to catch back up again. There's a little bit sliding now through turn number 1 here, coming down into the hairpin. He will not be close enough to make a move here, but he will definitely be close enough to just slide right on by coming down the straightaway, even though Redford has a little bit better exit out of turn number 3 here, coming down the first long straightaway. Vaughan Roberts is just going to slide right on past here, close up to him, move to the left and be done with it. Unless he chooses to stay behind. We'll see how late he gets up here. moves to the inside, and yeah, Redford just lifts off. He's not even going to fight him for it, as they have a lap car ahead of him who's just rejoined the track. That's Dave Dowson, so he is going to be moving again and probably going to move out of the way when they catch up. I just saw him coming right off the grass there when they were coming around a couple of corners behind, so could have been interesting, but good job there from Dowson getting back on the track. And apart from these two battles we're following here, Peter Cohen and Martin Armitage are somewhat close to each other, and then there's a couple of battles between lap cars as well. So we're just going to stay with these guys at the front, because this is pretty much where all the action is happening following those early incidents, as we have 2 laps to go, this time by Nicholas Von Roberts, currently leading now half a second down to Will Redford. But as always, that gap is going to come back down again, and at the moment it feels like Will Redford is in control of where he wants to be, and they're going at it for 3rd place again, right?
Absolutely, into turn 1, and Adam Miles bounces off the curve there, trying to carry that momentum and trying to make a move on George Martin. It looks like he's just, I thought he was going to just lunge up the inside there. A little bit of contact there by the looks of it, but nothing major. But as he come into the straight now, and Matic, I think he's going to be under attack from Adam Miles and possibly Nathan Wade as well.
Still 4 cars here within chance of the final podium position. Here they come again. This time Miles goes to the outside of George Matic. Wade trying to find a way on the inside, but he gets there too late. Matic just backs out and gives that position to Adam Miles, who is now up into 3rd. And here is our leaders again. Will Redford, Nicholas Von Roberts, a couple of corners away from the white flag. And the last thing these want to do, now I'm going to try that commentator curse one more time. The last thing these guys want to do is run into each other and run each other off the track. I'm doing that because I want George Matic to win this race. But here we go, white flag, 1 lap to go. It's currently Will Redford leading the way. He will get some help here from, let's see who that is. That will be Dave Dowson. They have not caught up to him yet, so he's definitely going to get some help from Dowson with the slipstream here on the final lap. But you can see now Von Roberts is somewhat struggling to catch up. So they're going to be even closer to Dowson coming onto the next straightaway, I believe. Von Roberts is all over the chat now, all over the mic, shouting at Dowson, get out of the way, don't give him any draft whatsoever. I need a draft, he does not need it. But this is going to be perfect for Will Redford, because Dave Dowson is right there. Von Roberts is going to have a little bit more of an advantage though, because he's a lot closer to Will Redford than what Redford is to Dowson. But here they come. Down the straightaway, they're closing up on Dowson. He's going to stay over to the left. Redford moves out to the right. Here comes Von Roberts. Where will he go? He's going to try and go to the outside. Dowson goes into the grass to get away from them. Side by side into turn number 4. Von Roberts around the outside. He's got the inside for turn number 5. Behind him, they're side by side as well. Redford tries to cut in underneath him, but there's not enough room, so he's going to be around the outside. Matic holds on to 3rd as well. Here they come. Redford now trying to come around the outside into turn number 7. It's going to be 1 corner to go. That's the left-hander, but Redford is not able to hold it out there. So Nicholas Von Roberts gets the lead coming into the final braking zone of the race. High on the curb, will this be enough though? He gets wide in the grass. Redford might have an advantage here. He's gonna have the draft coming down the straightaway. Is he gonna be close enough though? The finish line is right there, he can see it. He's getting closer, but it will not be enough. Nicholas Von Roberts takes his 2nd win of the 2021 season for UK&I Monday Night Skippies, and Adam Miles takes 3rd place. No, George Matic, sorry, holds on to 3rd place ahead of Adam Miles, with Nathan Wade just holding off Daniel Tubbs, who finishes back in 6th. And the next battle we have is for 12th and 13th. The last 2 cars on the lead lap here, that's Peter Cohen and Martin Armitage. Cohen currently holding this position, coming in to the final corner, goes wide. Armitage goes somewhat wide as well, but I don't think he is close enough to make a move. We're going to be on board with him here. They're coming onto the pit wall here, so he will not be close enough to make a move there. So Peter Cohen is going to hold on to that position. The other battle that we had was for 21st and 22nd, 1 lap down, and they are coming across the line here. McDonald and Jonathan Rex, they've actually kind of split up now as they come to the line, so Rex has had somewhat of an issue there on the final lap. But those 2, I believe, are the final cars to come across the line here as well. They were. So the full post-race results here, from Snetterton, is Nicholas Von Roberts comes home with the victory, just over a 10th ahead of Will Redford after an amazing move around the outside, coming to the end of that straightaway. George Matic holds off the other 3 guys to get another podium position here in 3rd. I believe that might actually be his first ever 3rd place finish as well here in the Skippys. Adam Miles in 4th, Nathan Wade in 5th, and then Daniel Tubbs ends up at the back of that first pack of cars. Kevin Budgeon ends up 6 seconds behind in 7th. Seth Brown another 6 seconds back in 8th, and Clark Williams almost another 6 seconds back in 9th, and then Geoff Randolph rounds out the top 10. Chris Wayne comes home in 11th, and then like we saw, Peter Cohen and Martin Armitage 12th and 13th, the last 2 cars on the lead lap after all that crashing they had early on. And Dave Dowson 14th, Greg Roof 15th, Anthony P.M. Jones in 16th, Terry McGrother in 17th, Christopher Miles 18th, Paul Smithers in 19th, and Tim Adcock rounds out the top 20. And then behind him we have John McDonald and Jonathan Rex, the last 2 cars to finish the race. David Clapham crashed out on lap 7, like we saw Peter Parnell and Dave Devine with 13 laps down. Alan Patterson and Tony Stack had that incident on the first lap. And then we had 3 cars that did not start the race, but still 27 cars, good turnout. Any thoughts on the race there, Ryan, before we go to the post-race interviews?
That was a great race. I enjoyed that. It was a good battle for the win between Redford and Vaughan Roberts, and also for the final step on the podium with Miles, Mattock Wade, and Daniel Tufts.
Definitely it was, and it does not look like Nicholas Vaughan Roberts is coming in for any interviews today either, so we'll move on to the second step of the podium right away. Will Redford, that was a great battle between you and Nicholas Vaughan Roberts, just came up a little bit too short today, but talk us through how that was from your point of view.
Yeah, good racing as always with Nick. Obviously qualifying was really close, so it was always going to be a tricky one. But it sort of all unravelled a bit when there was a move further back in the pack, and we managed to break away. And then from there, we were sort of just keeping the pace up and swapping positions, going for fastest laps, just seeing how fast we could go. And then obviously in the final corner, I tried to go for the run down the straight instead of going side by side into the corner, just because I thought it'd be a little smarter. But I misjudged it and I wasn't close enough, so Nick got the win in the end.
Still a great racing from you guys, and we always love seeing that, and good stuff that you did not run into each other. So anyone you want to send a shout out to here before we let you go?
I mean, it's the usual, to be honest, as always. Shout out to you guys for doing the broadcast. Shout out to Alan for hosting the league. Shout out to my dad. I don't know if he's watching. And obviously, shout out to my sponsors, Nest in the Woods.
As always, missing him here on the Skippys. It was good when he was back, but we might see him again soon. Thank you for that, Will. Next up we have Ryan, and we actually have a race winner here.
I do indeed. Nick Vaughan Roberts taking the win in that race, and Nick, that was a fantastic battle between you and Wolf in the closing stages. Talk about it from your view.
Yeah, it was it's quite a hard race actually, because it was all very close, and there's a lot of chances of like just little taps here and there that can just destroy your suspension. But yeah, sorry, I've got background. Sorry, just about right we go. Yeah, I had that one big moment when I just missed the breaking point, and thanks Nathan for just like he backed off and just gave me that space in case I was just sliding straight across the track. But that was one moment. It took me a few laps to recover from that. But yeah, great racing with Will.
Yeah, you're also in that battle in the early stages of the race as well, with the likes of Mattock and Miles and Nathan Wade, and I think Daniel Tuss was included in as well. But you managed to pull away while they were scrapping behind. Were you and Will working together to pull away, or is it just them scrapping away that allowed both of you to pull away?
After that gap opened up over a second, then me and Will, we worked together to try and keep that gap. And just waited. So I know it's not the best way, but waited till the last couple of laps really to then fight. I thought Will would definitely have it. I just got lucky at the end with the toe. Will had that toe off Dave, and it sort of actually assisted me, I think. Yeah, so happy with the win, to be honest.
And looking ahead to Mid-Ohio next week, is it a track that you like with Skippy?
Yeah, enjoy that track as well. There should be some good races there. The last few tracks actually should all be pretty good, so I'm looking forward to those.
Lastly, before we let you go, Nick, anyone that you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to you guys every week. Great stream, and to Alan for setting up the league, and to the guys racing at the front there. It's a good race.
Good stuff. And again, congratulations on the win, Nick, and we look forward to seeing you on track at Mid-Ohio next week.
Yeah, great. Cheers, guys.
Thank you for that, Ryan. And we will quickly go on to third place as well before we wrap up here. George Mattock, still no win, but a third place finish for you in the UK&I Monday Night Skippys, and a winner of the second group. So that's kind of a win. How was that from your point of view?
Still not a win, mate. Still not a win. Yeah, it's a little frustrating, really. It was a close battle between obviously the top 5 or 6 of us, however many there was. Just a shame we'd lost the draft slightly. It was about seconds, but I think we could have caught up. I think it was Nathan, me, then Adam, then Daniel, and then Daniel just sent it on all of us. And yeah, that was race over from that point because we all had to check up and let him make the move. So. Yeah, we'd lost the draft, and then everyone wanted to fight from then on. I wanted to try and catch up. I was letting Adam go, putting the clutch in on the straights. But yeah, third place overall is not too bad, but I was always hoping that being in third at the end, you never know what can happen with the 2 leaders. So I was just putting my car in the right place at the end, and yeah, there wasn't much to it at the end apart from the front 2, but. Yeah, I think it could have been a win if we'd have been in that pack, because anyone could have won there. So just one of those races.
Yeah, hoping that win will come soon, though. Anybody you want to send a shout out to before we let you go?
Shout out to you guys, you 3 boys, for doing the broadcast, of course. Every week we appreciate it. And Alan for hosting the league. Nick for the win. And you, Linus, I saw you got second place yesterday over the weekend, so I had a little tune in, saw that, so well done to you.
Awesome, thanks. Yeah, I won that 2 weeks ago, so I would have liked to win, but you can't pass a teammate on the final lap when you have an opponent right behind you, so had to be a team player and finish second in that.
Exactly. Well
so
played.
Thanks for that, George, and hope to see you as well again next week.
Yeah, get a win next week.
Hopefully.
Cheers.
Cheers. So that was first, second, second, first, and third. A bit weird order there. He jumped in a bit late, but still great racing here today at Snetterton. A lot of great passing and a big crash early on, but thankfully we still had the battle on at the front. Next week, like we said earlier, we head down to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, full layout, but that is in 1 week's time. My name is Linus Broström, joined as always by Ryan Walker, with Connor Maddock doing the work behind the cameras today. Been watching the UK&I Monday Night Skippys in support of the Column Sony campaign against living miserably, and from all of us here on RaceSpotTV. Until next week, take care, stay safe, and have a good one. Good.